You're not alone, together we stand. I'll be by your side, you know I'll take.
When we first moved back to North Carolina about 5 years ago, the family was in a lot of stress. Distress would be actually more accurate. As any concerned parent concerned about our children coming to a place where they can connect with the church, with Christ, certainly Christian friends, and Young Life was certainly more than just an answer. It was actually a godsend.
I was a sophomore in high school when I got involved in Young Life. I sat at this lunch table with a bunch of girls, and my friend Kelly just kept inviting me to this thing called Young Life, and I didn't know what it was, but I ended up just going to a club, and then that club turned into like every week club, and then I ended up going to summer camp. I went to Windy Gap after my sophomore year, and then after that I was all in. I kept coming back because of the amount of fun that everyone was having. I had never seen Jesus presented in the way that it was presented at Young Life Club, and so I kept coming back, and I found a community there. I was new my sophomore year, and so I was looking for a group of friends, and I found that community and that group of friends through Young Life. Once I got involved with Young Life, I found a completely new relationship with Jesus, and I found a completely new me almost. I realized that I didn't have to be perfect, and that Jesus still loved me and loved my imperfections, and realized that I needed no one's approval because I have God's, and why do you need anyone else's when you're the daughter of the one true King? My Young Life leader, Shannon, I don't have words for her. She has no idea how much she has impacted my life. She came in, or God put her into my life at the perfect time, exactly when I needed her. We have definitely developed a really, really close relationship. She pretty much knows everything about me and knows the struggles that I faced, and she really pursued a relationship with me and really poured into me in a way that she will never know how grateful I am of her. She's the best. I really love her a lot. I knew going into college that I wanted to be a Young Life leader because I wanted to be able to pour into high school girls' life like my Young Life leader poured into my life. I knew that God has called me to the mission field and to do His work and to help bring others closer to Him, and so Young Life is my way of reaching others for God.
What Young Life has meant in Danielle's life it couldn't be simply put in just a few words. We're so thankful for the phenomenal effect it's had in her life, and our family's been blessed. Not only in Danielle's life, but also in Michaela's life as a result as well.
I got involved with Young Life from my sister Danielle.
I kind of pushed her to get involved. She was reluctant at first because she already had a friend group and she was a little shy and didn't want to go out of her element, but I kind of forced her. I wanted Michaela to get involved in Young Life because I wanted her to experience what I experienced through Young Life. She had kind of gone through a rough time through middle school and freshman year, and she was really struggling, and that really broke me to see my little sister struggling.
I grew up in a church and I had a relationship with God, but when I got older and I was like in middle school in my freshman year, I really didn't believe in Jesus anymore. Danielle wanted me to become involved in Young Life because she saw how much of a troubled person I was. She saw how sad I was, and she knew that Young Life could really be that change for me. She forced me to go. I didn't want to go. I didn't believe in God. She made me go, and I'm glad she did.
And so I wanted her to have a really close relationship with Jesus, and I also wanted her to have a relationship with a college leader who could really pour into her in maybe ways that I or my family couldn't, just because we're on the inside.
My Young Life leader is also named Michaela. She's just a great person, and I think we're really good friends, and we've been like that since summer camp. We've been before. She's kind of like looked out for me wherever I was in Young Life, and I love her so much. Young Life basically means to me my whole relationship with Jesus. Without it, I really wouldn't have a relationship with Him, and I think Young Life really gets me into that and keeps me connected to God in a good way.
Young Life has really been a gift from God. It's meant so much to our family because, like I was saying before, we were so concerned about, our child connecting with Christ, with a Christian community, and it really has been that answer for us.
In addition to that, they developed some very personal relationships with Shannon and Andrew and Michaela. Their leaders are amazing, and I'm very grateful for the personal involvement that those leaders have been in their lives.
When I hear Young Life, I instantly think about a community that is real together and that lives life together and that is constantly pursuing Jesus and pushing each other to grow closer to Jesus. It's a community that I found just accepts you and reaches out to everyone and wants to reach every kid, everywhere for eternity. When I think Young Life, I think about some of my girls and just how I want to pour into them and how I was poured into. I think about how God is really changing a lot of lives through Young Life.